How you doing, man?
I'm good. Where you been hiding, Gabriel?
I'm finishing school. I graduate tomorrow.
Oh
So,
man, congratulations to you.
uh,
Congratulations on that. Now, was that you dancing in that video with Jasmine Crockett and those
oh
folks?
my guys, you guys got to stop accusing me of that, bro.
Was that
I'm not,
you?
bro. Any sassy dancing that's going on, that's not me, bro.
So, all right. Were you doing any dancing, sassy or
No,
non-sassy?
no, 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 no. You will not see me. I will at least not post it. At least
So
you will
that
not
what?
see me.
Okay, that dude look like you.
Nah, man. How you been, though,
I've,
Tariq?
I've been good. Just making sure you ain't out here bussy popping. We
No,
just
no,
want.
bro. Come on,
Come on,
bro.
man. You can't do that to the Desaline, then risk his life for you
Man,
to be out here
no,
bussy popping. So what's going on,
bro.
man? What's happening with you?
No, I'm just seeing like all like on the social side we're just seeing the whole Shiloh Hendrix, which is despicable, and Carmelo Anthony's like that whole situation, the GoFundmes. I don't think they're equivalent at all, but like just to see a white lady get $500,000 for calling a black kid the N-word is just I don't know. First, I want to get your reaction. Like, what this like? Is this like a rise of white supremacy? Because we know it's always been there,
Right,
but
right.
just like people just being just so open and like unapologetic about it. It's
Right. And let
like
me
it's something new to me.
right. And let me unpack all that. I'm gonna have you call back a little later because there's a lot of stuff that I do want to unpack. I just wanted to make sure. I just wanted to see if that was you bussy popping in that video. But I'll get you back on later. But I'm gonna tie all of this into this whole Myron Gaines nonsense. So again, like I said, Myron Gaines was on Pierce Morgan, and they were on there talking that BS. And again, Myron said something about America being a white nation, something, and it was like, it's what did he say? I want to paraphrase, but I just want to be accurate. He was defending white people as usual. And he was saying there's nothing wrong with them wanting to have a white nation or something like that. It was something to that effect. Now, the thing about it, America has never been a white nation. I just wanted to clear that up. That's one thing that stood out to me first. We got to always clear that up because a lot of the white supremacists will hop on talking about America's was a white nation. America's never, ever been a white nation. Never. When they tried to come over here and start these little all white colonies, they all failed. Let's just be clear. And I always bring that up. I'm going to keep bringing it up. They never, ever established an all white anything. They couldn't. They didn't have the wherewithal to do it. We're going to have to be historically accurate. This economy was built by enslaved foundational Black Americans, not white supremacists alone. The wealth and global rise came directly from our labor and our ingenuity. All right. Foundational Black Americans, we have always been the cornerstone of the U.S. economy. The U.S. was never ethnically homogenous. I'm talking from the 1600s onward. The nation this is always populated by a mix of red natives, Black aboriginals, enslaved Black people, imported African people, free Black people. All right, and the white supremacists from Europe. Some indentured servants, some planters, some pirates. So, yeah, it was always racially and ethnically diverse early on to a certain degree. But we've always been the main ingredients here. We've always had that. And look, the Constitution, which a lot of the white supremacists like to thump, but they don't believe in it, it was never racially exclusive by language. See, even though the founders, most of them were white supremacists, they talked about white supremacy in other works, but the Constitution, it never defined America as a white nation. It never did. Huh? And the thing is, those naturalization laws, they were created to force whiteness into law. You see, that's why those early immigration acts like the 1790 Naturalization Act that restricted citizenship to free white persons. So that shows whiteness had to be legally imposed. It wasn't the assumed nation's default. So it was like an artificial policy that was used to control. It didn't reflect America's identity. You had to bring white people over here and enforce more white folks over here because it wasn't white enough. You see, and white identity in America has always been fluid. It's always been politically constructed. Like when the Irish came over here, they were not considered white at first. Irish were not considered white, but they became some of the most staunch white supremacists once they got let into the white door. Italians were not considered white. There were some Jews who were not considered white to certain degrees. Some of the Greeks were not considered white. So that whole idea of white America, that expanded, only when they needed to serve some kind of political or economic goal, which proves that whiteness itself is a manufactured and unstable construct. Yeah? And also the repeated need to reinforce white, that proves it was never dominant by default. With the Jim Crow laws and redlining and sundown towns and the one drop rule and all of these things, they had to force white dominant. It was never, ever, ever a natural thing at all. And it's still being forced. That's why this immigration thing, they let folks over here and then haze them and then allow them into whiteness. So just wanted to clear that part of the game up. But Myron was on there, and as usual, Myron had my damn name in his mouth. He's always mentioning me. This dude stays whining about me. So he's on international television whining about me. He's like, yeah, people like Tariq Nasheed and Umar and those people, they're tribal. Tariq, they're tribal. They believe in black this and black marriage and keep it in the hood. He says something about keeping it in the hood. I'm like, what the fuck you talking about? You bad faith arguing buffoon. I ain't never said nothing about keep it in the hood. Just on TV lying his ass off. So yeah, he had to put my name. He keeps my name in his mouth. And here's the thing. He does that, number one, because it's clout chasing for the algorithms, because he knows mentioning me, somebody who's high profile and respected, that boosts engagement for him. He knows that using my name, that's going to attract attention, and that triggers discussions that helps his own content go viral. So that little musty tether needs me. I'm like his dad. He's like a little musty Webster to me. And he's sitting up here talking about I'm tribal while he makes excuses for the white supremacists doing every and anything. So by saying that I'm tribal, he's trying to create a false equivalency, framing black defense or cultural delineation as just as harmful as white supremacy. It ain't even nowhere near the same context. And he knows that, but he's a flunky because he's just appealing to the white supremacists. He's trying to get that injera butter biscuit. And he knows they all do this whole thing when they criticize high profile, very pro black figures such as myself and the handful of others. That's him trying to send a signal of allegiance to the white supremacists so he can try to position himself as being safe and obedient. And also it's a lot of jealousy and envy with that. I've organically, right, there's no T in organic. I'm sounding like Tyler Perry with that. But organically, I've organically built a powerful, influential base without needing to cater to white platforms. See, that's very rare, the size audience that I can garner, and I don't have to suck up to no damn body. I just be myself, yeah, and stand on business and have pride in my lineage and have pride and confidence in myself. And I did it without having to clout chase and leech off other people. See, Myron Gaines, his whole thing is he's only known for his proximity to whiteness and spewing their white supremacist talking points, you see. And he people like him, they resent the fact that I can speak unapologetically for my lineage, for my people, and still remain successful. That's the thing. I'm not a poor righteous teacher. I have relative success. I should be a damn billionaire, but I'm not sitting in a basement, selling incense and no shit like that. Yeah, because that's what people are used to. When people are very pro-black, it's usually somebody walking around in some Timberlands and a backpack selling Egyptian musk oil, and they don't mind that. They don't mind just as long as you broke talking about white folks and white supremacy. Yeah, that's like, yeah, you're right. Oh yeah. If I'm standing on a corner yelling with a Bible in my hand, they don't really have a problem with that. But when you have certain levels of success and you're speaking like this and you have certain levels of influence and you're speaking like this, that's a problem because people are really, really listening. And see, the people like Myron Gaines, they resent the fact that they come from these failed ass lineages. He can't even discuss anything about his lineage and his culture because it's seeped in failure. Mine isn't, and I can speak very highly and proudly of it. They resent stuff like that. That's why they're always trying to smear foundational Black American lineage. They're always running around here talking about some damn black crime in Chicago. You're not at liberty to talk about no crime over here. It is not as bad as your failed homeland, where y'all over there beating bitches in the head with hyena legs. It ain't that bad. You're not going to come over here and discuss any of that with us while your homeland is janky, toe down, and raggedy. I don't want to hear it. You're not at liberty to do that because it's a bad faith argument anyway. They're not, listen, when the musty Myron Gaines run over here talking about crime in Chicago, these musty fuckers ain't saying that to fix it. When Candace Owens is talking about, they ain't saying it to fix it. They're trying to get butter biscuits from the dominant society. They could care less. When we are successful, they hate even harder. That's why they hate on me. I'm talking about the Musty Myrons and those people. They always whining about me. I'm not creating crime in Chicago, but they state anything black and successful, or anything black, period, foundational black American lineage based, they're going to hate on it no matter what. It's pointless to even get into those arguments with those folks. You have to shift the argument back on why they're doing what they're doing. You have to bring truth to power, and they're doing it because they have an obsession with approval from white gatekeepers. And they know mentioning me negatively in front of white people like Pierce Morgan and some of the other viewers, that's virtue signaling to the white elites. That's him saying, hey, look, I'm very dark skinned, but I'm not like those radical black Americans. You can trust me. He always trying to tokenize himself as like being the reasonable black. Yeah. And there is no reasonable black in the system of white supremacy. And truth be told, mentioning me, Myron has no relevancy anywhere else. Myron Gaines, he's aware his own relevance is fading. He has to attach himself to people who are more talked about and respected. And since I'm always trending, especially in pro-black circles, he knows that mentioning my name, that ensures he stays in the conversation, even as a villain and a troll. That works for them. That's why people always mentioning me with these bad faith arguments. That's just so they can stay in the algorithm, so they can get clicks and views, and then they can monetize the clicks and views. I inadvertently feed a lot of tethers, fuck niggas, busters, sambos. I feed a lot of these people inadvertently, you see. But the game is getting real funny style out here, because look, the Myron Gaines and people like that, all of these bootlicks who suck up to the right wing white supremacists, things are getting different for them. Things are getting real hot for them right now, because the white supremacists are kind of turning their backs on their black flunkies and sellouts. What's that Dom Lecrae dude? He was one of these dudes who was sucking up to the right wingers, kind of denigrating black society and making a whole show out of it. They done turned on him because he spoke out against this white woman denigrating the black child. So I think he's from our lineage, even though he's a Sambo. But again, if you're from the lineage, there's only so far your Samboing will go. If the ancestors will tap your ass on the shoulder and say, hey man, you're going too far. Just like with Diamond and Silk. Diamond and Silk, I give them credit, even though they were mammies. They did not denigrate George Floyd. They didn't go that far. Just like Candace Owens is a Caribbean tether. She identifies as a Caribbean, so she goes all in. But Diamond and Silk, they reeled it back a little bit. So this Dom Lecrae, he's trying to reel it back a little bit. And boy, they turned on him, calling him all types of N-words and stuff. See, yeah, white supremacists, they're getting bold right. They're getting very, very bold right now, ladies and gentlemen. You see? And why are they getting so bold? See, right now, they're getting bold with political and media validation. See, a lot of the white supremacists, they feel like they're protected by the dog whistle politics. They know that the media is biased in their favor, and they're not going to really get any consequences or negative feedback from the media. They understand that they have institutional backing. So that kind of empowers them to be more overt, yeah, which backfires on them, because a lot of this shit is backfiring on the white supremacists, because this will push a lot of people to have some real solidarity with the foundational Black American community. And also, social media, that's turned into a radicalization feedback loop. So you got all these echo chambers out here that kind of reward extremism with likes and views. So a lot of the white supremacists, they escalate their rhetoric for clout. And here's the thing, it backfires on them, because see, the more unfiltered and brazen they become, there's more evidence for us to say, hey, look, we're going to have to get compensation for this open racism, because y'all like to say racism is over, and now we got all of these bold white supremacists making their move. That's making our claim stronger. That makes our justice claim much stronger. So you can't play the denial of white supremacy game when a bunch of white supremacists are giving hundreds of thousands of dollars to a white woman who racially terrorized a special needs Black 5-year-old. So now you're showing how degenerate you are, you see? And the white supremacists, they're making these little sloppy moves because see, they're getting desperate from their declining cultural control. See, black influence on the grassroots, that's growing even more. And the white supremacists, they're starting to feel cornered and irrelevant. So they're doing a lot of reckless outbursts right now. And see, their little public meltdown, see, that exposes how insecure they are, which delegitimizes their ideology in front of the world. Yeah. And another thing they thought they were going to do was weaponize law enforcement to draw more national attention. See, they use the law enforcement agencies in the court as their personal little security guards, planting false narratives. The police, they are selective in enforcing justice, and that's backfiring now because now the justice system and the political system, the legal system, law enforcement system, they are delegitimizing themselves by allowing so much anti-black racism to go on and no protection for the black community. So people are looking outside of the system in order to attain justice. See, that's the thing. When people lose faith in a system, when a system is just so openly corrupt and degenerate, people completely lose faith in it. So then they start looking for alternative ways to get justice. So this is why the white supremacists are kind of playing their hand, overplaying their hand. And see, they also forgot that the universe has balance, man. The universe corrects itself. And on a metaphysical level, white supremacy, they've overextended their karma credit line and their little sloppy overreaching that they're doing now. They're just making all types of little sloppy moves, which is good because it's being met with retributive energy. See, Neely Fuller told us this. Hey, man, it's good for the white supremacists to be bold because that's the only thing that wakes us the hell up. So now we ain't got no damn excuse. You see, we can't sit up here and play the denial game with them. They're being very bold with it. And when they're bold, we kind of get our shit together. We know what it is. We understand the assignment. I ain't got no problem. Eh? Because the law of nature pops off. People are like, okay, if they're going to be bold with it, we're going to be bold with the retribution. That's why, have y'all seen some of the videos that's been on social media? I posted a video today. This white woman, I don't know where this was, but she spit on some sisters, and the sister immediately, within seconds, stomped a mud hole in her ass. Well, there's a lot of videos like that. I saw another video. This white man was up in a store. It was a Walmart greet of this brother. I don't know what he was. I don't know if the brother was a Walmart greet. I don't know what he was, but this white man was up there arguing with him and then tried to spit on him. This brother slapped this dude up and took his belt off and started whooping him with the belt. Boy, the energy is different. There's a retributive energy right now. It's a whole different vibe. Now, what does this mean for the bootlicks? What does this mean for the Myron Gaines and these people who thought that they were going to get the golden butter biscuit that would last forever? No, it ain't working like that. The golden butter biscuit ain't gonna last forever because look, they're turning on the black flunkies. Because white supremacists is so bold right now, they're like looking at the black flunkies like, what do I need you for? This is why the Myron Gaines and people like that are buck dancing and samboing even harder because they know that these white supremacists don't really need them like that. Remember, Myron tried to go, remember like some months ago, he went up in one of them white supremacist spaces and they called him all types of saying N-words and they were calling him N-words left and right, made him get up out the room. They're like, we don't care about you using our talking points. You ain't one of us. They embarrassed this dude every chance they get. Because listen, the Myron Gaines, the Don McCraes, and all of these people, y'all were never really accepted. Y'all were not the good Negroes. They just used you. You're tools to them. The white supremacists, they never saw the black flunkies as equals. You're a shield. You're like a dog to them. You're like, hey, you're supposed to guard me from criticism. That's their mindset. And once you've outlived your usefulness, they discard your ass. Because now they're engaging in wide open racism. When you have these people putting up GoFundMe's and making money after racially terrorizing a black child and they're being bold and white with it, they don't need you as a shield no more. They feel less of a need to hide behind the black faces because they've always felt a certain way about having to hide behind the Sambo class. and give y'all money, Myron Gaines. That's why they deplatformed you and everything. They don't like the fact that they would have to give you guys money to do the dirty work for them because they know you're low key running a game on them. They know you don't believe half the shit that you're saying, and they know deep down some of you have resentment for them buck breaking your ass in your homeland. They ain't buying your, oh, the white man is so great. They ain't buying all that. They know there's some other shit going on there, you see. And I know you're listening, Myron. So yeah, they don't need no black mouthpiece to say what they're ready to say loud and proud now. That's why that's what they mean by supreme. They don't want to they don't feel supreme when they have to hide how they really feel. They've been wanting to say how they really felt for a while now. So right now they feel emboldened, which is good because they're tripping themselves up. And understand there's no good Negro in the system of white supremacy. The white supremacists, they don't distinguish between good blacks and bad blacks. You know, it's all fair game. And also there's a rise in black grassroots consciousness, and that makes the tokens obsolete because one thing what makes tokens effective for the white supremacists